Mula kau dapat kami ulumi. Bulog kaya kapag nandito.
Don't yell, please. 1.
Hello, welcome to another episode of TigerBelly. I'm your captain, Bob, and we've got Khalyla, everyone in the room. We have this cast of characters. We've got Gilbert, George. We also have got little Rudy here. I apologize for my attitude earlier, Rude. We weren't even going to do a podcast today because of what's going on our planet, and especially in this country. It's very volatile out there. It's polarizing. You know, I'm a lighthearted, goofy, silly comedian who says outlandish things to get a response. You know, I don't have a college education, but what I do have is, you know, I look at the world around me. I absorb information like other people do. You know, I see the George Floyd, the video, right? I look at it and I absorb it and I go, okay, that was so fucked up, right? That was right there, plain and simple, murder on camera. And, you know, I also watch things, you know, documentaries, and, you know, I talk to my friends of all colors, and I assess situations, and I come to my own opinions about things, you know. And, you know, I have another podcast called Bad Friends. We released it. I get a lot of crazy comments about how wrong I am or how uneducated Bobby Lee is. And, you know, there are parts of me that go, yeah, I am uneducated.
I agree.
But I agree. But there are parts of me that go, no, you know, I'm entitled to have my own opinion.
But who made the rules that you have to be politically savvy in order to have feelings about a man being murdered? Like that doesn't require an education to see that that's wrong or right. If people are saying that you should be educated before speaking on that matter, then they're probably on the other side of the fence defending what we're fighting against. Like that's, or what we're sad about.
Mm-hmm.
That's concerning. If someone says you need an education to have a heart, that's concerning.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that a simpleton like me.
Yeah, and we're all simpletons.
I know,
here.
but let me just express this. Yeah, right. I apologize that a simpleton like me sees that video of George Floyd being murdered on camera, and a simpleton like me looks at something like that and says, "Okay, let's suppose I was in the same situation. Probably not George Floyd because he was a big dude, but let's suppose it was a black dwarf. I might be able to take one of those down, right? And I had my neck on his knee, and I was killing him while being taped, right? Would I get third-degree murder?
No.
No, Gilbert, would I get third degree? Would I be arrested immediately?
Yes.
Okay, so a simpleton like me sees something like that and goes, oh, obviously that's wrong. Obviously getting fired is not enough, because that was the initial response, right, of them firing the 4. Was it 4 or the 2? I don't remember.
It's total 4, I believe.
4 total.
They fired 4, all right? And then people have the gall to go, why are people angry? Right? The response that's going on in the country, right, isn't some random event, right? There's the root of it, right?
Yeah,
what
but
we
the root
see.
of it, the root of it is not something recent, right? Like the root,
Yes.
the root of police brutality, the root of systemic racism stems back all the way to the days of slavery. We've just rebranded slavery into multiple different things. So you went from slavery to mass incarceration to Jim Crow, back to mass incarceration and the prison industrial complex. That's just how it's always been. It's permutated. It's just we've been able to call it something else when really at its root it's still a form of slavery.
Yeah. And also, here's another simpleton idea.
That's my simpleton idea.
Yeah, I have a simpleton idea. I have another simpleton idea.
This is our segment
For the
called
for the
Simpleton-
dum-dums.
This is Simpleton segment.
Simpleton
Yeah.
segment, all right?
Simpleton
Right.
speaking.
Speak, yes.
Right, we lived through Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner,
Philando Castile.
Ahmaud Arbery, right?
Ahmad.
We lived through these events that happen, right? And as a simpleton, right, when George Floyd, we saw that video, something happened where we all went, that's it. The human soul can only take so much. The human mind, right? Emotions. We're talking about emotions, right? As well. We can only take so much, right? It broke. That watching that video just went and something broke inside us, right? And I'm sorry, okay? We're human beings, and when we see that constantly, people, Ahmaud Arbery, 2 months. These white people are able to just live their lives. Nothing really happened, right? If it wasn't caught on camera, it would have just gone away, right? That's another element of all this stuff. And again, goofy fat Asian comedian here who doesn't know much, didn't have a college education, right? But I do see things, and I watch. I try to immerse myself in documentaries, and I Am Not Your Negro, the James Baldwin documentary. I've seen that 10 times, and I do attempt to learn
But you
and
should-
attempt to go through what.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thought.
And I do attempt to open up my mind and my horizons, and to put myself in other people's shoes, right? And I'm also, as an Asian guy, I don't have the same experience as an African American person.
And I
in this
think that's
country.
ultimately it. Like, what you said, even though all of those things are correct, like immersing yourself, trying to educate yourself, take it one step further. I think the problem with a lot of people, including myself, and I can only speak on behalf of myself, I suppose. I'll tell you my experience is, I gave myself pass after pass after pass. Immigrant mom, gave myself a pass. Grew up in a
Immigrant.
third world country, gave myself a pass. Went to a predominantly black high school, gave myself a pass. Have a black best friend, gave myself a pass. Dated black men, gave myself a pass. I gave myself a pass and exempted myself from any type of introspection. And I gave myself a pass from possibly checking myself about all these little insidious, bad, racist habits that I've picked up along the way. Like, I'm willing to wear the black hat. I think that all of us should be wearing a black hat. I think we should all be ashamed of ourselves. I think that we've been really defensive about, no, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Yeah, we fucking are. Have we made mistakes on this podcast? So many. When we call them mud Asians, so many. When we make fun of Indians, so many. When we
Okay.
call black people greasy, so many.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is,
Do we say gook here?
Gook, yes.
yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is, like, I can only speak for myself, and I'm telling you guys right now, I'm sad, I'm confused, but most importantly, I'm just so ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed that I've exempted my own loved ones from their own racism because I thought that they were inherently good people and that should be enough. I'm ashamed that they exempted me from my own bad behavior. Like, I'm ashamed of having friends I never check, from never reaching out in my own community and trying to, like, do little things. I'm ashamed that I've been quiet. I might as well, this is how I view myself. I just might as well be that same person watching black people get lynched during Jim Crow. That's me. I've sat here quietly because I've been so afraid of having difficult discussions I'm scared of misspeaking. I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I'm scared of criticism. But I think that I'm done with that. Like, I am absolutely a big ball of useless dust on the ground, and I have completely ripped my own ideals apart. I don't like who I've become. I don't like the friends that I've kept, and I want to change. And I don't have the power to do much else than to fix my fucking heart. Like, I want to fix my heart. I don't want to continue to say it's justifiable to be racist just because for the sake of comedy. I don't want to be that person anymore. I think that by virtue of growing up Filipino, racism is so deeply embedded into our comedy that
Culture.
it's after a long time it feels benign. It feels like something that's justifiable, but it's not. It's not. And it's a small seed that eventually turns into a rotten fruit. And I've gave myself, and I think that's ultimately it. Like, I'm ashamed that I've been so useless in all of this. And I just wanna be better. And I just don't really have much else to say because
That's the end of the episode.
Khalyla,
Thanks for listening.
Give it out to Khalyla, our leader.
But also
Yeah.
like it's, you know, there's this like Ilani, Steve's girlfriend. She's very bright, you know, she's Filipina, and we've been like talking about it, and you know, we've been going back and forth about it. And she sent me this quote, and I don't know who wrote it, but it said basically, a child who is not embraced by its village will burn it down to feel its warmth. You know, and as I don't condone obviously the destruction of small businesses. I don't condone any of that. There's so much heartache on that end as well. Like my brother-in-law is out there in the skirmish line. He's on his 5th day of 16-hour shifts. He's injured. He's out there. But I can hold 2 truths in my heart at once, and those 2
Yes.
truths are that the world can burn, that the world needs to burn a little bit to learn, but also that my brother-in-law is a good man,
He's a great guy, and I don't
and that
have
he
a
deserves
problem
to
with
come home safely.
cops. I don't have a problem with cops. You know, I have a problem with bad cops. That's the thing. It's like, you know, I people comment like, well, police officers are, you know, they're protective of us from society, and you know, it's like I know that, right? But you know what? There are bad cops out there. That's who I have the problem with. I'm not. I have to say this, and this is going to be a very sensitive issue. Is as a comic, you know, I struggle with where the line is in terms of race, because you know, a lot of my act has racism, not racism in it, but has race in them.
You don't have a racist. You don't have
No,
a
no,
racist.
yeah, it
act.
has race in them.
in it. Yeah.
I talk about race,
Midnight
right?
Show.
When I'm around, you know, like when I walk into a room, right, and one of my white comedian friends goes, na 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 na, when I walk into a room, right?
I'm even laughing at it.
Right, and I always laugh, right? And then like, you know, I was playing Warzone with Eric Griffin maybe a week ago, right?
What's up?
And what's that, Warzone? And you know, Eric goes, "Hey, don't go inside that dark tunnel." I go, "You mean your mom's vagina?" Right?
Yeah.
When you make
But that's a
jokes like
mom
that,
joke.
That's
I
a
know.
Yo Mama joke. That's a Yo
All
Mama joke.
I
vaginas
know.
are dark tunnels.
Right, but then
And
I
there's
don't
a
think
fact.
mine
There's a
is like
fact.
lit or anything.
I know.
Khalyla's has Christmas lights. It's crazy.
yeah. So, you know, amongst my comedian friends, there's always going to be, you know, a tint of race involved in our comedy, and I enjoy it. I do. I enjoy getting kind of ripped apart a little bit when it comes to the way I look. You know, I love self-deprecation humor, right? I do. Look at my first 10 minutes of comedy. You know what I mean? My opening act is, I talk about my body and
Yeah.
how big my head is or whatnot.
It's
you
the
know,
opposite of therapy. Yeah.
it's the opposite of therapy,
Therapy, yeah.
you know? So, you know, where is the line as a comedian? I don't know right now, right? But I am still very sensitive to the fact that for 400 years, a group of people in this country has had an American experience that I'm not really fully aware of because I don't walk in their shoes.
And you know what? It's something that you and I, will never in our lifetimes, 10 times over, ever fucking understand.
Yeah.
we just will not
We'll
understand.
never understand it.
Even for someone like me.
But we
right?
want to. But we want to.
No, but even if we educate ourselves, even if we are the most informed people with the most informed debates about race and black pain, we just will not know even an iota of the pain that they feel.
Yeah,
It's impossible for us. So it's like
like when astronauts talk about, don't give me those eyes.
No, I'm just ready for it.
No, when astronauts talk about their experience
Okay.
walking on the moon, or what it's like to be floating in space, and they can describe in every detail, right, what that's like. And we can kind of get there, right? But we'll never exactly know what it feels like.
well, now you can because SpaceX launched the rocket, and now
Oh,
down
that's
the road.
I know.
Like
It's
even
from a-
that's more plausible than having the
It's
ability
true,
to
actually,
understand
true.
black pain. Like,
Yeah.
like that's
But you understand my analogy there, no?
I get
Or-
it. I get it.
I
Yeah.
get
Thank
it,
you,
but
Gilbert.
Yes. I get it.
Warzone forever, you and I. Yeah.
But not to say that, like the reason I'm so like just confused and I just don't know even like what words are correct, or I tried to, we were gonna scrap this podcast altogether and say fuck it, we don't have an episode because we're not gonna say anything correct. There is a selfish part of me that, I want my brother-in-law home safely. He isn't just my brother-in-law. He's somebody like I don't think I've ever talked about how close I am with him. I hang out with him without my sister. Him and I go to the gym together. He's one of my best friends,
I love that guy.
And he's the quietest. And here's one thing I'll say about Renzo, and maybe I'll get in trouble for this, and maybe we'll have to take this part out. But Renzo has been treated like a social pariah, even in his own division. And that is inherently, in and of itself, a problem. The fact that they know that he's socially liberal, that he supports the Black Lives Matter movement, makes him sort of a pariah at work. They say things to him like, I cannot believe you live with a woman like that, when they see pictures of my sister at the Women's March. He gets snide remarks like that on a daily. He works with people who are outwardly racist and who support Trump to the very end. So these people that are marching and that are angry, they're not wrong. And he'll tell you they're not wrong. But what pisses me off is the other side. Yesterday, he had a model influencer on Instagram stand in front of him and then tell her friend, hey, can you make sure that you take a video of this? And the person turned on the video, her friend turned on the video just so she can spit at Renzo's face.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
What?
That's the other side where I'm just like,
Please
what?
please don't tell me stuff like that.
But
Sorry.
It's gonna give me some
of
sort of
all
fucking
the
aneurysm.
people in
Look
that,
at this.
Yeah. It's gonna give me some sort of aneurysm.
But that's what I'm saying.
can't.
That's the world we live in. The
can't.
right and the left, everyone's fucking wrong. Everyone is wrong. We need to fucking it needs to crumble down. We need to burn to fucking learn, man, because everything that we are is just so fucking rotten, including myself, including you, including everyone in this fucking room. Like, we have turned into something so vile that I'm ashamed to even fucking breathe a lungful of air because I don't feel like I fucking deserve it.
Yeah. And I think I'm at a point too where why do I don't say certain things and I don't express myself in a certain way because obviously this country is very polarized, and I don't like debating with people online, right? I don't like crazy comments toward me when they don't know who really I am. They know the Bobby Lee entertainment version of me, but you don't really know exactly who I am and how I feel and how I behave day to day, right? But I think there is now a push for me to express myself in certain ways, even politically. I mean, I look at someone like Michael Rappaport, and there is a freedom. I love Michael, by the way. You guys know him? He's a good
Yes.
dude. Really nice guy, very funny, great actor. But Rappaport goes on these tangents, right? And you can see he's getting it out there. And he, quite frankly, it seems like he doesn't really care what people's response is to his rants and whatnot, right? And there's a part of me that's very envious of him. Why don't I do that, right? And it's because I guess I'm afraid of I want people to like me.
And that's been my problem too.
Yeah, I want people to like me. I want the right to like me. I want the left to like me. But obviously, you know where I stand.
That's and I've talked to Gilbert and George about this. Like, I've cast myself on my own island in the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm not, fuck the right, fuck the left. Because I'm telling you right now, insider info, if you do sit on the right side, listen to this. I know many people on the left who are racist assholes.
Just the same. Just the same.
It's just
Bingo.
the fucking same. This needs to fucking change.
Listen up, Santino.
There are just because... my
Andrew Santino. That's what we're talking about. Andrew Santino.
Andrew Santino, listen up.
Look
I
him up.
really like, by the way, speaking of which, I know I lied to you. The person I was on
I already
the
knew
phone
you
call
were-
with was Santino.
Because
before
Santino was
this.
acting like a bitch upstairs. Let me talk to your girlfriend. Because I had called Santino about some of the comments I was getting on the Bad Friends feed, right? Bobby's dumb. He's uneducated. All this and this and this and this and this and this. Yeah, you're right.
You know what, though? Here's what I think about this.
You're absolutely right.
I am feeding myself to the wolves. I am willing to take any form of criticism, whatever fucking verbal beating you want to give at me. I will read it all and I will learn from it as best as I can. I am just a useless ball of dust on the ground, like I said. I'm willing to start from scratch and reshape my heart and reshape my head. I don't think anything that I've done thus far in my life has been of any help to anyone, and I'm willing to start from scratch. So if that means people shitting on what I have to say or from whatever side, left, right, and center, fuck it. Like, I'm willing to take it all because I'm finally ready to have those difficult conversations that I wasn't willing before because I was too scared to not be liked. I don't care to be liked anymore. I just want to move, and I want
Find
to
truth.
be of service to all of this.
And I have something profound to say as well. I'm going to learn. I want to learn what words actually mean. Hear me out, all right? I think that I wasn't paying attention in school, but like even a word like great, I don't know what it means. Do you?
If I had to define it, I don't know if I could actually say the sentence.
Right, because we have over 100,000 people dead from this virus, right? The cities are burning, okay? We almost have a depression level economy. But America is great from our president. What does great mean? Is it great now? Because if it's great now, I don't know what the fucking word means. We're better off? I'm asking you, Gilbert, do you think we're better off?
From what I saw this past weekend, I'm not too sure about that word.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back to school and learn these words again because I don't know what they mean.
My stepdad's gonna be really mad at me that I said this out loud. But it's not gonna be great with Biden either.
It's not.
It's like,
Oh yeah, that's another thing that depresses the fuck out of me is that he doesn't even know what planet he's on.
Yeah, he does. He says that black people should vote for him.
Yeah, I know. But there is, have you looked at his eyes? There's something going on that's missing. So now we're in a situation where we don't know who to fucking pick.
yeah.
Right?
It's unfortunate in our system that we have to pick between two people.
That's what Khalyla was saying. We need an 8-party system.
Yeah, if not more. And also, like, of all the people that is actually culpable for the prison industrial complex, it's a fucking Clintons. Bill Clinton put that into effect. the
Democratic
three
Party.
strikes you're out.
It's a Democratic Party.
I mean, granted, it was already on its way there, but he put the fucking final nail in that coffin.
It's like a golf ball right by the hole. You just gotta tap it in. That's all he did.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to live in the world where the Star Trek universe lives in.
Taiwan.
What is the political? Wait, what is the political?
So in
Star Trek?
the Star Trek universe,
Yeah,
right?
what is the political landscape?
Is there's no such thing as money, right?
What is currency?
There is no currency. It's everyone's everyone has woke, right? And their whole what's so funny?
No, I'm
I'm
listening.
dude, this
I'm
is
trying
probably
to think of
serious.
all the episodes. I'm like,
Keep
was there
going.
really no
I was
currency?
like, is there no currency?
No, there's
How do
no
they buy-
financial.
Like burning
there's no
a drink
finan-
bar. Yeah.
Well, they have these replicators or whatever. You can just
Oh, I guess it's not
put-
real.
yeah. So you can get a steak by using these replicators. So I want, Morton steak, medium rare, T-bone, beep, boop, 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 and it
Yeah.
comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want some Romulan ale, beep, boop,
Yeah.
boop, 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 right? It's illegal, by the way. But
Whoa, guys.
they live to learn, to explore, right, and to grow, spiritually, emotionally, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so they're that unites the planet, right? And space exploration is their thing. And obviously, that's what the show is about,
Yeah.
right?
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but we want to share this amazing sponsor with you.
Manscaped USA.
Babe, your energy, keep it down. This is a somber
It's an ad.
podcast.
It's an ad. It's an ad.
You can't go from
Go
like,
for it. Right, go. 5, 4, 3. Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt right now during the podcast, but there is a sponsor we want to really share with you.
Bum, 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 bum. Manscaped USA. Bum, 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 bum. Manscaped USA. Listen up, fellas, because today we have a new Manscaped product alert. Manscaped just released the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Let me say something right now. I have really thick nose hairs.
Yeah.
And I have hairs sticking out of my little Cambodian ears, right?
Oh God, here we go with a racial.
I'm not being racial. All right. Here, I have a lot of hair of my Korean ears. Is that better? Because I'm Korean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what he does? You know how he's been doing it up until he got the weed whacker? He used to just kind of try to bundle, get
me
6
too.
hairs.
Yeah, yeah.
And then twirl it and then just rip it out.
So hard
Yeah.
to do. So hard.
But it really is an amazing product that we've been using here in the house. We just got one a week ago, and I love it. All the nose hairs are gone. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Weed Whacker. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes.
The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system.
Its intelligently contoured design enhances the trimming experience, and it is waterproof, which makes for an easy operation and cleaning.
Manscaped is making whacking your weeds a time to look forward to, delivering maximum confidence while providing hygiene. Tell us more about it, Gilb.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SLEPT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SLEPT. What are you waiting for? Go whack your weeds.
Bum, 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 bum. Manscaped
Enjoy-
USA.
Enjoy this energy shift right now.
The foundation of how we live our lives in America, right, cannot be religion. It used to be religion. That used to be our God, right? Now it's capitalism, right? It has to be more internal, right? About growing, learning, helping others, right? You look at any, the happiest person in the world, right, is the person that is giving back, right? That's the whole premise of 12-step groups, is to, help another alcoholic, is what they say, And for some reason, when you call a newcomer in an AA meeting, right, and ask him, there's a comic, I'm not going to say his name, but there's a comedian who he's new in sobriety, right? He has I think 3 or 4 months now, and he had a 90-day chip, and because of the pandemic, he can't go to a meeting and get one, right? So our friend told a bunch of guys to meet this kid at a park, and to give him a chip. So all these men that don't even know this kid, right, went from all over LA went to this park and put a chip on a bench, right?
Wow.
And then this kid went and sterilized everything and grabbed the chips, and it meant so much to him, right? That little act, right? I'm sorry, but that kind of gesture has to be the foundation in which we live in this country. Also, these small businesses,
Ooh,
right?
So sad.
So fucking sad, right?
So
They have nothing to do with anything, my friend. These are people that, especially from the pandemic,
Oh
right,
my God,
are
yep.
barely surviving. Especially these stores on Melrose in LA and Fairfax, right? These small little mom and pop stores that are being being looted, right? Now they're going under forever. It's terrible, right? So the looting, if you're gonna loot, if you're that kind of person, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, right?
I like the girl who came out with a whole cheesecake. Like she's
that
the
was
only one that I could
hilarious.
get on board
yeah.
with. Like that's the only looting.
Walked out
that I
so
was
calmly
like-
too.
She was like, you know what? I'm happy with this.
I'm gonna take a whole cheesecake. This is 3,000 calories.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's another person that I just, and I know this has been out for a week, but I just discovered this woman, Amy Cooper.
She's the best. What a wonderful woman, huh?
What a great lady.
What a Andrew Santino,
Who's this?
huh?
Who's this?
Same kind of person.
Yeah.
You got to tell me who Amy Cooper is.
You know who Amy Cooper is?
You don't. You do know what? I don't think you do, Gilbert. Who's Amy Cooper?
It's the lady walking around in a bird watching area and then called the cops.
Oh, that one. Okay. I didn't know the name.
What's the guy's name?
I forgot his name.
Christian Q Cooper. They have the same last name.
Is it really the same? Are they married?
I don't know. But
My wife
love
is
how-
calling the cops on me.
It's a media stunt. It's a media stunt.
yeah.
That's so
You think it's a
fucking
video-
funny.
Yeah.
Do you
I
know
mean,
what's
that-
crazy
ahead,
about
Gil.
that? I heard some other opposition to it from women. It's so weird how all these different groups eat each other. Where it was like some feminist groups were saying like, you don't know that like I've been followed by someone and I feel like I was gonna get raped and I have been raped. And I was like, oh my God, like the video is not that at all.
He
But
had
it-
binoculars and a
it's-
scarf.
It's her fucking rhetoric,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
He obviously is not violent or being aggressive in any kind of way. And her fucking phone call is an African American is being very aggressive
no,
toward
that's
me.
not what she said. I'm here in the park, and there's an African American man who's I feel threatened.
So, yeah,
and he's
threatened.
screaming at me.
Yeah,
That's
threatened.
Amy Cooper.
And he's
Right.
like, I just told her to put a leash on her dog.
yeah, and he's bird watching with his binoculars.
A black man bird watching. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
That's George. That's George Kimball, basically.
But that rhetoric, right? Now, cut to
Wait, and isn't he a gay man?
gay man.
Probably.
Cut to right. Cut to the clerk, right? Okay, so what now? Follow that through.
Okay.
Let's say the cops they take it seriously.
Yeah.
A black man, right, is being threatening to a white lady, right? They show up. Now, granted, Christian Cooper is taping this whole event, right?
Job.
But we know from the past that sometimes they don't ask questions.
They react.
Cops react, right? So what ends up? They tackle, this poor Christian Cooper, birdwatcher, Harvard grad, right? Put their knee on his neck. He dies, right? That kind of rhetoric, it's not even real. She lies on fucking the phone call. Imagine it happened. That shit happens all the fucking time. You know it does. Exaggerations, right? It's a black man. He's threatening me. Meanwhile, a guy's just jogging, right? And then the response is that. So that lady, Amy Cooper, she's like, "Oh, I lost my job. Oh my God, I'm not a racist, bitch. You fucked up, right?"
She lost her dog too because she was choking the
lost her
shit out
dog.
of it.
Put a leash on your dog next time,
Okay.
Comedy.
So I know
We're doing comedy here.
most of the things that we're saying are talking about Amy Cooper like white people, obviously, right? But I think that we should keep it real for once, not get
everyone.
defensive, and we should really talk about how there's a lot of racism in the Asian community, and
What?
I don't believe it. We're
I think that
angels.
we should, Gilbert. it's a lot of look. The Filipino story is very complex. We were colonialized for over 300 years. We've been made to believe that this color of our skin was always less than. We created this culture of self-loathing where we always praised white, fairer skin, right? Like that's something that has been pushed into our heads for generations and generations and generations. And I'm not speaking for the Filipinos that are born and raised here because a lot of them are actually like very active in like community work and activism and all of that. I'm speaking for a lot of the kids that I grew up with in the Philippines that now live here that I cannot seem to get through. They do not want to take a look at themselves in the mirror. They do not want, they're very defensive to be called out on their racism. How do you and me as Filipinos check our own community? Because there is a lot of fucking racism towards each other, towards other races, and it gets swept under the rug, and we make it seem like we're not a culprit in all of this, but we are.
Yeah, it's
What are
interesting. Yeah, like I don't think you can get to those. I'd be curious to ask you how those conversations go, actually. But like, I don't think they could understand the racism they do outward to other people until like what you touched on is the inward racism within the culture. Because like you were even talking about like the whole skin lightening thing. Like already that is already like if you can't fix that core, you're probably not going to get to the next steps of other things of outward, support. Because like that's a mindset change within. If you already think you're a terrible person because you're a skin color or you're less than because you're too brown or too dark, there's not much you can do past that until you figure that. What Bobby was saying, inward, like that inward change, or what you were saying, the heart change about even how you view yourself. That's like almost ingrained into your DNA at that point.
Yeah, like I think that sometimes we feel already because like, oh, we're immigrants or whatever. We've been colonialized that, we understand, the black
plight.
man's strife.
The plight,
But it's different. There's some similarities, but it still is very different, and it doesn't mean that we cannot be racist towards black people.
Yeah.
It does not excuse or exempt us from our own fucking prejudices. Do you know what I mean? And so like my thing is like I don't know how to reach across or to like be of any help in that regard because it seems like I don't know, like I want to hear what they have to say. Like I do want to understand it, from the depths of their heart, but they're very resistant.
I think a lot of it is just being defensive because they feel like, oh, I also have struggled. And I think what is they're not understanding is, no, your struggle still has value. We're not saying it does not exist. It's just right now, let this be heard first and understand this type of struggle. And we're not trying to say your struggle doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, I think David actually put a thing out where it's like some people are just tone deaf. We're not trying to say your shit doesn't matter. It's just there's something else that matters right now.
Yeah.
We can get to your thing. Let this shit happen first.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. You
They just don't want to be devalued. They just don't want to be devalued. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I think that doing a lot of introspection is not devaluing yourself.
It's not.
I think that's absolutely valuing who you are as a person. It's taking the time to say, hey, you know what? These parts of me are no longer serving me in any way, shape, or form.
community,
Let's throw those parts away and let's do some internal fucking fixing and overhaul. And
Asians
what do you think?
I'll say Asians. I know, obviously, family how a lot of Asians and older generations feel about therapy, and you guys have talked about therapy, how it's so basically life transformation and changing. I think it's just people are afraid to see themselves and their flaws, especially Asians, because we're set to have this image or I guess model minority and all this other shit. It's like you just have to. I encourage everyone, especially Asian families and individuals, to get therapy and really check yourself because you just have to strip everything down.
Yeah. And I see that a lot too. Like, obviously, I can't speak for you, Bobby, but, I have noticed that the Korean community has a lot of issues with racism towards black people. And I was talking to my best friend, Jessica, about it, and she was like, yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely. And she was like, she said that's seeped into her brain. She's like, my grandma wouldn't even shake a black man's hand. She came from Korea, had never seen a black man, thought that she was just afraid to be around them altogether. And, that's the unlearning we need to do. We need to unlearn the ignorant shit that's been passed on through our generations. And it's we need to stop excusing it. We need to finally see it for what it is, and it's insidious. It's there, and it turns into something else. What do you think, Bobby? Speak on behalf of your
All
Korean
Koreans
fellows.
and every Korean celebrity will see this, so choose your words carefully.
When I was probably 12, 11. I went golfing with my dad once. I didn't golf. I just watched him. Yeah, I was in the little caddy. And these two black gentlemen were golfing ahead of my father. I don't know what happened, but it got to the point where my dad said, "감동이."
What's that?
I think it's the N-word in Korean. And he grabbed his golf club and he started swinging at these two guys, right? And I remember being in the golf cart going, "What, Dad, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? He's acting crazy, you know? And I just remember it being embarrassed. I was embarrassed for my father. And I remember being just looking on the ground going, "What the fuck? This is my dad?" You know? It's simple things like, my dad saying, "If you ever marry a Vietnamese woman, you're not going to be my son." Or he would say stuff like, all this rhetoric, "If you're gay, you're not going to be my son," And as a kid, I was always on the opposing point of view of his. Going, that doesn't make any sense.
But it
Why
doesn't
would
mean,
that?
but
I know, I
but
just-
it doesn't mean it doesn't seep into us a little bit, and that we pick up like habits along the way.
I know, I understand that. Listen, as I talk, I'm being very mindful and trying to look back as well. That's why I'm talking slow, and that's why I have my eyes closed, thinking, right?
Okay.
About what I can do. Yes, you're right. I've been insensitive before. You're right. I see. If you think that I'm on the side of Koreans when they say back in the day when they were going, "You touch, you buy," you know what I mean, and treating African Americans the way they did, especially walking to the liquor stores, you know what I mean, and all those like stereotypical things that black people would say. Because when I came to LA, I was around, there was no Asian comedian or a scene, right? When I came around LA in the 90s, black dudes were the hot ticket, I used to be in the OR, see Paul Mooney, Chris Tucker, Chris Rock, all these guys.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted them to like me. I've always been saying hi to them and trying to, and then when the riots and all that stuff after that, I was never on the side of the Koreans. I've always been kind of shameful of it, But do I say racist things? Yes, I have. I don't believe those things that I say. I do it in within the frame of a joke, or to get a response, or to get a laugh. But is it insensitive? Yes. Am I going to change? Yes, I am.
But I think that's all we can really do. And I think that if everyone were to just put their defenses down and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm a big sack of shit," instead of trying to defend all their morality and say, but I've done so good. I've lived with black people. I have black friends.
I have to say, though.
But
Go ahead.
instead of saying all that, just admit that we've all done and said really fucked up things that have not been positive or have not served this cause at all.
But I do have to say, though, like when I was in Israel and we went to the Holocaust Museum, right? And we're looking at all the shoes. You know, they have this memorial there where they have the literal shoes, you know what I mean, that were gathered from Auschwitz and some of these camps. And, you know, you're bawling your eyes out, right? And then you're reading all the descriptions and all the people that died, and you read all the history of it. And you literally, when you're in the Holocaust Museum in Israel, you really, you know, want to absorb it and to see if, you know, you can. I mean, I couldn't be more empathetic, you know. I don't know what it's like. I was not there. I'm not Jewish, right? But that's the thing that I want to cling on to is that I am still willing to learn and to try to absorb, you know, and to change and have that. I know that about myself. You know, when I was on drugs all those years and I get sober right away, that's a part of me stopping, reflecting, and going, I don't want to behave like this. I want to be a better person. You know, I want to see if I can be better as a human being. So I know that about myself. I'm not perfect, and I could have done things differently. But you know, there are people in the world that refuse to learn. They refuse to walk in other people's shoes or to absorb, right? And I'm not one of those people, right? I'm not defending myself, right? But I am saying that, you know, I know this about myself, that I'm always on the side of the underdog. And you are too.
Yeah, but
You are too.
But I don't feel like it's the time to tell you all the good parts about me.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying.
Of course, we have empathy. Of course, we've done a bunch of course correction in our life. Like, of course, there are parts of us that are generous and loving. Like, that's not. But I just don't think it's the time to really tell you.
I'm not defending myself either. I'm just thinking out loud. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud, and I'm trying to get to a place. All right. But yes. At the same time, yes, I could have done better, right?
I'm on the verge of flogging myself.
I know she is.
Don't do that.
But we are admitting our frailties and our character defects and things that we could have done better. Okay,
Yeah.
And I will do better. But also, I don't also want to go down the road of that we're evil people and we're bad people. Because my parents, you know, they said all kinds of racist fucking shit, right? But then again, you know, I didn't walk in their shoes either. I don't know what my grandparents were like.
True.
I don't know what it was like being a kid, seeing dead bodies all over the fucking place during the Korean War, the kind of trauma that they felt, right? It's you know, but you know what? I have to say that a little bit, we are getting better, even as a country, a little bit.
Wait, but didn't your dad vote for Obama?
He did. I made him.
Oh, you made him.
Probably stole the ballot fraud, voting.
Yeah, I made my parents. They weren't going to vote. I made them vote. You know.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, I have family members that are very like staunchly like liberal, right? But who still say things like, "Are you sure you want to live in this neighborhood that's purely black and Latino? It's not going to hold its value." Like that. Like, I have family
relatives
members
that talk like that.
yeah, because they're white.
Oh,
you know?
that side. Got it.
And I'm like, wait, how are you? But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't surprise me. It's not even like a political argument anymore. Like, this shit is everywhere, no matter what end of the spectrum you're on. Like, fucking racism is deep in a lot of people.
I'm gonna say something you might have to cut out.
No, we're not cutting it out.
Not
I
noted,
believe in you.
but
I believe in you.
this is something that I feel, and I'm just gonna say it, and then probably cut it out. But there is a part of me, you know, the abortion movement, right? When men have their strong opinions about abortion, there is a part of me that I do believe this, that it has nothing to do with you. What do you? you're creating laws, you know what I mean, that have to do with a woman's body. You're not a woman, dude. Shut the fuck up. There literally is a part of me that thinks that.
No, wait. I hope that's
What?
all
What
the
is-
part of you
what
that
is
thinks
the other,
that.
What is the other part? What is the opposition?
but I feel the same way about when white people have opinions about, you know what I mean, the black experience.
I see what
yeah,
you're
you should
saying.
lead with that.
Yeah, you should have led with that, babe.
The protests are going on as we speak. We're in a pandemic. We've been locked in this house. Especially Khalyla and I've been very, we've been following the rules and we haven't left. And
But-
we don't want to get sick, and we don't want to get other people sick. So we've really not left the house. Aside from taking the dog to the vet, but we don't go to restaurants. We don't go out. And I've been invited to people's houses for dinner. I haven't done that. And so you're talking about a group of people, little Asian people, simpletons, in a house that's been quarantined, and then now, 5 minutes from where we live right now, things are on fire, and to me, our country doesn't seem like we're in a good place.
Yeah.
And
I think that
and we need more. We should do a episode where there's more reflection. But now that we're in it, right? There's a lot of emotions going on. There's a lot of feelings. I don't know where my emotions are derived from. Mostly is from the murder of George Floyd. But there probably are aspects of me being quarantined for this long, and also being unsure about my own personal welfare, right? So there's all these things that are mixed in with it. I'm lashing out with rage, toward people that I love. I love you, George. I really do. Look at me. Where is he?
Yes.
I love you. You know what I mean? You're a good dude. You have a good heart. And you've worked very hard in this company. And I really appreciate it. We wouldn't be where we're at without you. God, that's so difficult to say.
I know.
So difficult. And Gilbert, I also appreciate you. I don't know exactly what you do for the company. But
he does a
play
lot.
Warzone
too.
with you.
really
I say-
good at Warzone.
I say yes.
Very good
to
at Warzone.
Everything
No,
you say.
you're a good friend of us. You sent us food the other day. Really appreciate it.
Shout out to Tom.
But everyone in this country has their own point of view, have their own life experiences. We're all very sensitive. I just feel like we're at a boiling point. We're at a point where obviously this moment in time is going to be talked about, I think, in the history books.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but that's exactly like where I feel the most guilt, right? Is that when we look at the old pictures of people getting lynched in like Jim Crow and stuff, and like just the bystanders or people watching, and we always say, I would have said something, I would have not been that person, but we are. We have been those people.
Okay.
But don't get defensive. I'm saying
I'm not being
part of
defensive.
that.
I'm not being defensive about it. I don't know, aside from expressing my point of view, what to do really. If you want me to donate money to a
We
group,
have.
I will.
Oh, you don't
We
know that
have.
you've donated money?
Oh yeah, we have donated money, but
I donated on
I
your
know she
behalf.
has.
I haven't.
But at this point, aside from expressing my point of view and doing what I can personally in my own life, I really, there are parts of me that feel powerless over it.
But that's the one thing that I've had a lot of time to sit with. It's like part of my feeling powerless. I don't want to believe that. I do want to believe that even a little introspection goes a long way. And if everyone were to start there and then maybe work their way out, start with yourself and then then move on to your spouse and to your friends and to your loved ones and then out into your community, that's a place to start. And it might feel small, but there is power there.
Anyway, I don't know what else to say, and I think I'm done.
Wait, hang on. Talk about your yoga experience.
Oh, you did yoga?
I want to talk about other things. I'll talk about the yoga
Did you do the yoga with her friend?
twice.
Oh my God! My legs were
Twice?
bleeding the next day.
I know. My shoulders and my back and my stomach and my legs.
My
You know,
butthole, too.
Well, I don't know about
I
that, but
think I fucked myself. I don't know.
yeah.
Wait, George did it too.
Yeah, but you guys did the intermediate. I did the beginning class.
Did I do intermediate?
Yeah, that was an intermediate class, Gil.
Yeah. Oh, you thought that was expert level?
Yeah,
No, that's intermediate.
dude.
I know, but I've done it twice. I did it
versions did you
yesterday, and I did it 3 or 4 days before that. Yoga for me is I've never done it. I've always mocked it.
Yeah.
I used to like walk by and just stare at a yoga studio and smile and go, "That's not exercise." yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
What are you guys sleeping?
Yeah.
You guys sleeping in there? I literally didn't know much about it. And I remembered I had a friend named Mike who he was probably one of the most negative people I've ever met in my life. I always thought this guy was a piece of shit. And I didn't see him for a couple years. And then when I saw him, he looked completely different. He was very friendly, at peace with himself. And I go, "What the fuck did you do? You went to the forum? Where'd you go?" And he goes, "Yoga. Changed my life." And I didn't really know what he was talking about. And in the last 2, I've only done 2. But, there is something to it. I don't know exactly what it is. But number one, my body, I feel, especially after a couple of days of doing it, right? I feel looser. I feel more at calm and at peace. And even with what's going on in the world. And I told Khalyla, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I really do. I love it. It's also very difficult, and it wears the fuck out of you. And we have it on video. First of all, I farted in her face in yoga, and she hit me from behind.
Well, no,
it's like I purposely farted in your
That's
fucking
not
face.
namaste, Claude. That's not namaste.
Listen, can I tell you what position I was in? I was about to do a tripod headstand.
Love that
So
one.
I was upside down, right? Bobby was in front of me, so he's doing this with his head down too. His asshole was right in my face, but then I didn't really have a lot of control because my head was down and I was about to do the shoulder or the tripod headstand.
Yeah.
And I just ate a giant cloud of his fart and I almost toppled over.
Yep.
So bad.
Yoga, baby. And
But shout out to Kara.
yeah, I love her. What a great
Aloha.
lady.
Her handle on Instagram is Kara with a K, Kara Ocean. And if you ask her for the Zoom links, maybe we can do yoga together.
And on the bright side, watch Game On
CBS.
CBS at 8 p.m. It's
I saw the first one. It was fun.
It's
That was
good.
a fun
It's so
show.
I've talked to comics.
My audio was kind of weird.
I've
though
talked
at the
to
beginning.
I've talked to comics.
What do you mean?
I've talked to comics.
Oh, you mean jealous comics that didn't have the same opportunity? you
No,
did?
no.
Yeah.
Comics going. It's not for me and all that kind of stuff. But
Cool.
it is what it is. There is a feeling of like, the world is burning to the ground, and then like if you first of all, I did this show 7 months ago.
And then Bobby as a goalie.
Right, I don't want people to think that I'm shooting this now and I'm like running around. You know what I mean?
No. This was shot during the protest on Saturday.
Climbing a slimy wall. You know what I mean?
Well, if it makes you feel better, J.R. Smith was on the first episode, and then
True.
yesterday, he was on the first episode, and then yesterday he had that video of him beating the shit out of that
Punching
white
that dude.
Yeah.
that dude.
So watch that 8 p.m. CBS. I'm a corporate whore, and
Yum yum.
yum choco, and then thanks for listening to another
No,
episode.
hang on,
I can't do it. I'm done.
I'm not helpful. I'm
I'm
helpful advice. We
literally-
have to. We have to. You said
I-
go
I'm
long.
literally-
No, we don't have to. We're good. You wanna
I'm
say
literally
anything
done.
else?
We don't have to. George, can we keep it short this week?
Of course
Yeah,
we can.
yeah.
We're great.
I'm
I just
literally done.
wanna say-
We're just, I got everything out that I want to get out. There's nothing funny to say. I don't want to come up with other fucking bits.
No, this is good.
I
We're
think
good.
I'm done.
I'm
just wanna-
I'm done.
Don't be
too.
mad at me.
why would
No,
I be
no, no,
mad
okay,
at
this
you?
is
Like
good.
I
I
It's
just
really
want to
good.
say, if you haven't seen it yet, anyone listening, check out Killer Mike's speech.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
TI
amazing.
and also
Yeah,
the mayor of
yeah.
Atlanta, my hometown. Like that is kind of how I feel about all
Yeah.
of it.
I have a lighter thing to say is that, I know a lot of people are hurt that I haven't played Warzone with them because I get thousands of friend requests on PlayStation and people messaging me, how come you won't play with me? And I can feel some people are getting their butt hurt. I am playing with fans.
Yeah,
I am, but I can't
Just
play
not
with
you.
all of them.
too many.
Right, so I'm just, I play with this kid Raimi. I started playing with this guy named Jake and his wife. What's her name?
Lift God.
Claire.
Gotta lift
Claire. I play with Lift God. So I've been playing with fans. I'm slowly doing it. If I'm not getting to you right away, I'm sorry. I just, you play one game with somebody, and they're like, let's do another one. You play another one.
Khalyla's face. Look at Khalyla's face.
I know. Her
Oh,
face.
was my face? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but thank you
Tara's
for listening
house?
to another. Thank you for listening to another episode of Tiger Belly. God bless you, and stay safe out there. I love you guys so much. Good night.
Love you all.
Shukuluki mo kisa